Hi everyone, tonight my husband and I are making spaghetti squash that is stuffed, and it's called Primavera. And what we are doing right now is we took a spaghetti squash and split it lengthwise, and we're putting olive oil all around the cut edge, and then we're going to sprinkle some Buck seasoning, low salt seasoning on it. If you don't want to use Bucks, you can use salt and pepper. And then we're going to flip it over and put it in the oven at 400 degrees, and you cook it for 30 to 35 minutes. Now that he has it coated, we're going to flip it over and put it in the oven at 400 degrees on the middle shelf for 30 to 35 minutes. Our squash is done. It's been in the oven for 35 minutes, and now we are going to start cooking some of the ingredients going inside the squash. We have a frying pan with 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil. I'm using a little extra oil because my husband and I really love vegetables, so we're going to cook more than we need. We are going to add 2 large green peppers and 2 onions that have been chopped. We're going to cook them for a few minutes until they start losing their color. Then we're going to add some more ingredients on top of that. Our 4-minute cooking time is up, and you can see that the onions and green peppers have started to soften and change colors. Now we are going to add 3 drops of lemon peel essential oil, or you can use lemon peel that you grate yourself. I'm going to use the oil. Then we are going to add our fresh garlic that we minced ourselves. This is 2 cloves that have been chopped up so that we could sprinkle them over the food. Now we are going to add 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. The next ingredient is zucchini cut into half moons. You cut it lengthwise and then you subcut it into these little half moon shapes. Our last vegetable that we're going to add are tomatoes, about 1 cup. And now, instead of using plain salt and pepper, we are using Buck's low salt seasoning. I'm going to season the vegetables. We will stir this up and let it cook for another 4 minutes with a cover on top. Now, while we are waiting for our vegetables to cook, we are going to take our spaghetti squash and get it to look like spaghetti. So some of you are probably wondering, why are we using spaghetti squash? Well, if you have blood sugar issues, you have to be very careful about what carbohydrates you eat. So, if you're interested, there is a simple tips for faster weight loss on my website, robinkaluahine.com, and on there it has a list of fruits, vegetables, and other things and their glycemic load numbers. That is how I control my blood sugar, along with taking some other supplements. Now, when we shred this is lower carbohydrates than using real spaghetti, and we are going to fill these boats with the mixture that's cooking on the oven at the moment. Okay, we're going to shut the heat off on our pan, and it's taken about 12 minutes to get the zucchini soft enough to add the chicken. We're going to stir it up. And then we're going to put this mixture in our squash bowls, and then we are going to stir the squash in with it and top it with mozzarella cheese and Parmesan cheese and put it back in the 400-degree oven that we left the heat on. So now that we have our mixture all mixed up, we're going to take and put our zucchini, peppers, onions, garlic, and chicken into our squash, and then try to stir it with the ingredients in the squash. This might be actually easier if you take it out of the squash and put it in the pan and mix it up and then put it back in. But we're doing it like the instructions said. Of course, I've got to modify it a little because that's just me. But there we go. I'm going to add a little bit more. Make sure it's full. Now I'm going to top it off with mozzarella and Parmesan cheese. And this mixture will be going in the oven for 5 minutes until the cheese is melted. A little bit of Parmesan, kick up the flavor a notch. One of the other things you could do is if you were in the mood and wanted more flavor than what this gives, you could also add wine, like half a cup to a cup of wine to your vegetables, cook off the alcohol, and just leave the flavor. So our 5 minutes are up and we've taken it out when the cheese are melted. Now, if you look at this, you're like, well, one of them has a lot of cheese and one of them has a little cheese, but that's how they wanted it. So we will give you our report after we're done eating and let you know how scrumptious it was. So as you can see, we've had it over half gone. My husband agrees this was very good, and the leftovers will be going with me to work tomorrow. So for those of you who are wondering, why spaghetti squash, why not something else? Spaghetti squash has a glycemic index of like 50, and it will not spike your blood sugar. So if you are having blood sugar issues, then you may want to go to my website, robinkaluhini.com, download our free simple weight loss guide, and also while you're there, if you want to know what I am taking to help keep my sugar levels down and combat insulin resistance, fill out our What's Up With Your Health quiz and put in your information, and I will start sending you details on what I am doing to lose 30 pounds and get my A1C so that it is 5.5 instead of in the 7s. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk again soon.